So looks like
Good evening, everybody. Well, settle in and get set. We have statutory public meeting tonight for planning issues, and then we have regular council meeting. Council meeting was closed session. Okay. Call the statutory public meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. and ask if there are any amendments to the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor Lawrence. I have none.
Thank you. Motion that the agenda for the statutory public meeting on July 16, 2025 be approved as presented. Seconded by Councilor Lego, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence. I have none.
We have a zoning bylaw amendment number Z05-2025, 40 Lincoln Street, applicant Paula and Alan Pizio. This public meeting is held pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, chapter 13 as amended, regarding the zoning bylaw amendment for Z05-2025 by Paula Pizio on behalf of Alan Pizio for the subject property locally known as 40 Lincoln Street. The subject property is currently a single detached dwelling and an accessory building. The subject property is currently part of the Lincoln Trailer Park located at 137 and 40 Lincoln Street. The owner received the provisional consent approval, C06-2025, from the Committee of Adjustment to sever 137 Lincoln Street and retain 40 Lincoln Street. The owner is requesting the zoning bylaw amendment to satisfy a condition of the provisional consent approval. Purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment application Z05-2025 is to rezone the subject property from residential mobile home zone to residential shoreline zone. The planning coordinator will confirm how notice was served to advertise the public meeting.
Terry Lawrence. Notice was circulated to internal staff and external bodies by email. Notice was advertised in the Sioux bulletin and on the municipal website and social media, and also sent by mail to various agencies, property owners within 120 meters of the subject property, and signs were also posted on the subject property.
Thank you. The planning coordinator will provide a summary of the application.
Through Mayor Lawrence, a zoning bylaw amendment application was submitted by Paula Pitio on behalf of Alan Pitio for the subject lands located at 40 Lincoln Street to rezone the subject lands from the residential mobile home zone to the residential shoreline zone. A rezoning is required as a condition of provisional consent C06-2025 to rezone the new shoreline residential lot that was created. The Committee of Adjustment provisionally approved the recreation of one severed lot and one retained lot at the June 2nd, 2025 Committee of Adjustment meeting. The retained lot is the subject of this rezoning application. The retained lot has a lot area of 5.7 hectares and a lot frontage of 230 meters on Abraham Lake. The retained lot will contain a single detached dwelling and will no longer be part of the Lincoln Trailer Park located at 1-37 Lincoln Street. A single detached dwelling is not a permitted use in the residential mobile home zone. No new development is proposed on the retained lot as a result of this zoning bylaw amendment application. The provincial planning statement is a provincial policy document that provides guidance and recommendations on land use. All local planning decisions must be consistent with the provincial planning statement. The retained lot is considered rural lands in the context of the provincial planning statement. Residential uses such as single detached dwellings are permitted on rural lands. The retained lot is partially serviced by a private communal water system from the neighboring trailer park and by an individual on-site septic system. The partial servicing situation is pre-existing, and the owners of the retained lot have entered into a servicing agreement with the owner of the trailer park. The proposed zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the provincial planning statement. The retained lot is designated as rural residential in the municipal official plan. The rural residential designation is characterized by residential development on larger lots and frontages than those in the residential designation. A single detached dwelling is a permitted use in the rural residential designation. In the official plan, lands along the shoreline of Abraham Lake to an elevation of 359.74 meters above sea level are designated as floodplain and considered hazard lands. The official plan directs development out of these lands. The retained lot contain an existing single detached dwelling and no new development is proposed as a result of this zoning bylaw amendment application. Any future development must conform to the floodplain policies of the official plan. The proposed zoning bylaw amendment conforms to the official plan. The retained lot is currently located in the residential mobile home zone and is proposed to be rezoned to the residential shoreline zone. The retained lot meets all the provisions of the residential shoreline zone, including the minimum lot area and minimum lot frontage requirements. Following the rezoning, the existing uses on the retained lot would comply with the zoning bylaw.
Thank you. The planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from government agencies and municipal staff.
Through Mayor Lawrence, there were none.
Planning coordinator will read out any correspondence received from members of the public.
Through Mayor Lawrence, there were none.
The applicant or a representative is invited to speak to the application. See the applicant here. Do you wish to speak?
Not necessary.
Thank you. Questions from members of council? Councilor Gibbs.
Yeah, just wasn't, the thing. Yeah, and just clarifying, the PCO still own the whole park, I presume. Is that correct?
Through Mayor Lawrence, so from our understanding and discussions with the PCOs, it seemed that in the process of transferring the lands to a different owner.
Oh, okay, because it said the owners of 37 Lincoln and the owners of 40 Lincoln, so 37, I'm just wondering who was the respective owners there?
Through Mayor Lawrence, so as part of the provisional consent approval, we noticed that the PCOs have already engaged and retained a lawyer, and the prospective owner has also retained a lawyer, and they are in the final stages of finalizing the land
And
transaction.
that was who the other
Yes.
party is, okay. It just wasn't clear, thank you.
Any further, council? Members of the public are invited to speak to the application. The public can ask questions or seek clarification or seek background information, speak in support of the application or speak in opposition to the application. All questions will be directed through the chair. It is requested that only one question be asked at a time. Please identify yourself before you ask your question so that you can be properly recorded in the minutes of the hearing. Are there any members of the public present who wish to speak to the application? Seeing none. This concludes the public meeting regarding the zoning bylaw amendment to application Z05-2025. If any member of the public wishes to be notified of the decision of council in respect to the application, you must make a written request to the planning coordinator. Notice to appeal the decisions of council to the Ontario Land Tribunal must be filed with the planning coordinator no later than 20 days from the date the notice of decision is circulated. The notice of appeal shall be sent to the attention of the planning coordinator, and it must include the following information. The reasons for the appeal: the fee as prescribed under the Ontario Land Tribunal Act in the amount of $1,100 each for the official plan amendment and the zoning bylaw amendment, payable by certified check to the Minister of Finance, Province of Ontario. And then we're ready for some options.
Through Mayor Lawrence, I would, based on the lack of concerns, questions, or objections, I would recommend option 1.
So the motions that the council receives the planning report dated July 16th, 2025, respecting zoning bylaw amendment number Z05-2025, and further, the council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 48-25, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 85-18, being a comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended. I would look for a mover and seconder and pass that in this session.
Yeah.
Moved by Councilor Van Breda, seconded by Councilor Lego. All in favor? Carried, thank you. And motion by bylaw number 52-25, being bylaw to confirm proceedings of the municipality of Sioux, July 16th, 2025, statutory public meeting be read a first, second, and third time on pass. Moved by Councilor Van Breda, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried, thank you. So will there be, you'll be adding something to the regular? Thank you.
And everyone's, if you could just declare the meeting adjourned at 5:40.
Certainly. I declare the statutory public meeting adjourned at 5:40.
Thank you.
At 5:40, I will then call the regular council meeting of July 16th to order. And as we call the meeting to order, I will note that we are on the traditional territory of the Lac-Seul First Nation within the area of Treaty 3, and that many of the communities and people we service come from Treaties 5 and 9. And the original name for Sioux in indigenous language is Wananangay, meaning Bay of Sandy Beaches. Any amendments to the agenda?
Through mayor warrants, arising from the statutory public meeting, council may wish to add item number 7.12. And that's respecting zoning bylaw amendment application number Z05 2025. And under section 10, the bylaws, council may wish to add bylaw number 4825 to give effect to that zoning bylaw amendment change.
Thank you. So a motion that the agenda for the regular council meeting on July 16th, 2025 be approved as amended. Moved by Councilor Timpson, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, I have none.
Thank you. And we have a motion that the minutes of the May 29th, 2025 Kenora Home for the Aged Board meeting be received. Moved by Councilor Lego, seconded by Cassidy. Any discussion? In favor? Carried. Thank you. And determination of items requiring separate discussion. 7.1, National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, standard statutory holiday support. So, and if it's not lifted, it's going to be adopted.
Correct.
Oops. Okay, thank you. 7.2, approval for a site for Truth and Reconciliation Memorial Site. Dr. Simpson. 7.3, replacement of arena speaker system. 7.4, plan of subdivision Sturgeon River Road Jam Development Incorporated. 7.5, 17 Bernier Bay, extension to temporary use zoning bylaw. Councilor Van Brito. 7.6, signing authorities, all municipal bank accounts. 7.7, 2024 unaudited municipal operating budget to actual. 7.8, 10 First Avenue, section 357 application. Must this be lifted? Okay, thank you. 7.9, 36 Fourth Avenue, 357 application. Section 357 application. 7.10, resignation. Did I get this one? 7.10, resignation of Councillor Bone, declaration of vacancy, options to fill vacancies and must. 7.11, council appointees to Community Healing Waters Ontario Health Team.
We must lift this one as well because we require an appointee for committee of adjustment. Please.
Okay, thank you. And 7.12 will be the zoning bylaw amendment that we've added. I don't think we need to lift that. So what I have is that we have lifted items 7.2, 7.5, 7.10, and 7.11 for separate discussion. So a motion to adopt items 7.1, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation statutory holiday support. 7.3, replacement of the arena speaker system. 7.4, plan of subdivision, Sturgeon River Road, Jam Developments. 7.6, signing authorities on municipal bank accounts. 7.7, 2024 unaudited municipal operating budget actual. 7.8, 10 First Avenue, section 357 application, 7.9, 36 Fourth Avenue, 357 application, and 7.12, the zoning bylaw amendment related to the statutory public meeting. Moved by Council Vibrata, seconded by Council Cassidy, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. So we will start with 7.2. The council approves the use of municipally designated space for the establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Memorial Site as outlined in this report. And further, the council directs staff to support the planning and maintenance of the site in collaboration with the Municipal Truth and Reconciliation Committee. Mover? Councilor Costco, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. So the discussion with Councilor Timpson.
Yeah, and I guess we're just really approving designating a space, which is, I think it's all a great idea. The only thing that I think the committee might reconsider is committing long-term perpetuity and long-term commitment in perpetuity for basically the committee to do the maintenance of the garden. Committing people who will be volunteers for perpetuity is, I think that's a bit risky. There may be no Truth and Reconciliation Committee in a few councils. The volunteers may not be up for it. It's just, maybe that should be more flexible.
So, did I read something that indicated staff would take that on, or it was it?
Through Mayor Lawrence, my understanding is like the committee wishes to take on that project, including its maintenance.
Okay, I thought the staff, there was any.
Although staff, I mean, I think the reality is that if the eventuality that Councilor Timpson describes were to happen, then I'm sure it would fall back to staff to maintain. But at this point, the proposal it is that it'd be sort of a joint effort between the committee and staff, is my understanding.
Do you say, I think it's covered, I think to Councilor Timpson's point, which I think is reasonable. Are we covered that we're not gonna have an unmaintained garden there? If volunteers in the future.
Well, I think at that time, council would make a decision, either they would continue to maintain it via staff, or say, we're going to look at a different type of memorial that doesn't require as much maintenance. That may be a consideration in the future.
And
Councilor Costa.
we are planning on it being perennial garden, so it's not being planted. And we're sort of hoping that, like people could plant a lily in memorial. So, and the plants are all gonna be orange. And the concept is that we would work with like Home Hardware, who have gardening expertise, and there would be plants that come up throughout the season, all different times. So the maintenance would be strictly just weeding. It wouldn't be where you have to turn over the soil and plant it, and there may be realistically, like I don't even think that we would put in like mulch or anything. We would have like ground covered plants. So it's gonna be like a very low maintenance perennial garden that is orange, and hoping at one point there will be a sculptural element that maybe can hold the shoes. So we're not sure of that yet. We're still working out the details of that. So the concept is low maintenance perennial garden.
Councilor Lager.
Would we want to put that wording into a motion? So in future councils that it's not brought back, that no, you need to take care of it all. That it's supposed to be perennial, it's supposed to be.
Through Mayor Lawrence, I think, like right now, where the motion says that council directs staff to support the planning and maintenance of the site in collaboration with the Municipal Truth and Reconciliation Committee, I think that sort of would capture, and clearly Councilor Costco on behalf of the committee has sort of explained what that's going to look like. And so, I have a really good idea right now, and I think that if we implement it the way that it's being described, as a low maintenance initiative, I think we should be okay. And yeah.
And
Councilor Timpson next, sir.
Yeah, it's hard to be really prescriptive because you don't know how it's gonna, how it's gonna fold out. But, and look at, it seemed to me to be important to have like a fairly robust description on your plaque. of Why it is there and why it's orange and why the booty and all that sort of thing. Because in 20 years, people may not be,
Um, we, part of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee, we are actually having Darlene Adjective document the story. And we're gonna put it on our website, and I think that Darlene play a major role in that, designing that plaque. And also, Darlene Adjective and the other members of the committee would play a major role in the process of the movement of the memorial from one area to another, like whether there needs to be, like we haven't worked out all the details because the reality is now, like it's very late in the year, like we're probably just gonna have a garden this year and we'll be planting next year and then we'll be moving things next year. So will there be a ceremony? Then we will definitely be consulting with the Indigenous members of our community to decide how that process will happen.
Further, council? And all in favor? Carried, thank you. Item 7.5, the council receives the planning report dated July 16th, 2024, respecting zoning bylaw amendment number Z 06-2025. And further, the council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 50-25, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 85-18, being a comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended to permit an extension of use. Over, please. Councilor Brito, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. Start the discussion with Councilor Brito.
We have a guest from IFNA. Would I be able to ask her to come up? Is that possible?
Members of the public may speak. It's not a delegation, but members of the public may speak to an item. If you wish to, do you wish to speak to this item? Certainly, please step forward and step up. The name and represent and
Name is Leslie Anderson. I'm the Director of Education for IFNA.
go ahead.
Sorry, this is my first time. I don't know what you would like me to speak to.
Only if you have something to say.
We just really need our trailers extended. The trailers are a very important aspect of our program. We bring in about 47 students a year as per the letter I generate. $7 million, a bunch of tuition, salary within the municipality. If you were to look at our on-call stats and rates over the last 5 years, our police involvement, maybe 5 to less calls. So these trailers on property keep our children safe, healthy, and busy. At this time, we do want to build another residence where we can work out of, but decisions aren't being made. So we will build when the time is right, but I can't afford to lose these trailers or it lessens my space for this fall and September.
Very good. Council, any further discussion?
No, you're saying like that was my question, just like when you hopefully will build more on that subdivision, but I guess you said you will build when the time is right. So that answers my question. Thank you.
Thanks very much for all you do to support the students. If there's nothing further, I will call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.10. Whereas the office of a member of the council of the corporation of the municipality of Sioux has become vacant under section 259(1)(d) of the Municipal Act due to the resignation of Councilor Luke Bolton, effective June 25th, 2025. In accordance with section 262(1) of the Municipal Act, the council of the municipality of Sioux declares the office and council seat of Councilor Luke Bolton vacant, and further, that council directs staff as to how they wish to proceed to fill the vacancy, based on the legislation which is outlined in the CAO Municipal Clerk's Report dated July 16th, 2025. Should I put this motion, do we have a motion yet, or without giving the direction?
Sorry, through Mayor Lawrence. Yes, we'll still get the mover and seconder. The second part of the motion will likely change eventually, but we will require at least the first part of the motion to be passed in open session.
So I need a mover, please. Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. And what I would say to council is this to start is that I think the options that are laid out in the report and that the municipal act prescribes, the first one is to conduct a bylaw. And at this point in the term, by the time the bylaw, and I think the report states that by the time the bylaw was organized, et cetera, it would be 2 or 3 months from now, before filling the seat, which would leave 1 year left in the term, and the expenditure for the conducting the election is $35,000. If this were the first year of the term, I would say perhaps a by-election. My thinking, I'm hoping you agree with this, is that we will take that option off the table. Yes, take would you agree with taking a by-election off the table? All right, so let's start the discussion. What I don't want to do is, the next part is appointment by appointment, either by, there's several ways, but it's by appointment. And I think the discussion will quickly go to be an effective discussion, it will quickly go to naming individuals. It would be hard not to. And that should not be done in open session as when we do appointments to commissions, boards, and committees. So I'm going to suggest that we decide whether we're having a by-election or not, and then move the discussion to the discussion in closed session tonight. So if you are in favor of holding a by-election, please speak to it. Councilor Timpson.
I would say we should to go by the standard procedure, which is to go to the next person.
So that's,
And if that person is not interested, then I would say yes, a by-election.
does anybody else support a by-election? Councilor Van you support a by-election?
Yes, I would. I believe that this has to go back to the people. I do understand that we're under a time constraint, but however, this is a people's choice and it should go back towards the people.
Anybody else supporting a by-election? I don't support a by-election. I support going to either the option, discussing the option that Councilor Timpson had, looking at the last election list, previous election, or appointing an individual that council decides, offering an appointment to an individual. So may I call a straw poll on by-election? Is that fair enough? If you support a by-election, please raise your hand. Defeated. So at this point, and I'm not going to say, if we go into closed session and we can't come up with a method, we may come back to by-election. But at this point, I'm going to take by-election off the table and suggest to council that the next discussion be held in closed session as per the municipal act allows, because we will be, I think, naming individuals. Councilor Timpson.
We got closed session today
Today.
on that. Okay.
Yeah, I would ask the CAO to add that to the closed session discussion. Is that fair?
So you may want, yes. So the second part of the resolution, pardon me, the motion would read the council, just give me one moment here. So okay, so the second part of the recommendation would then read that council authorizes amending the regular council meeting agenda of July 16th, 2025 by adding an item to the closed session agenda respecting filling council vacancy.
That's added to the resolution that we,
So that would be in lieu of that council direct staff how they wish to fill the vacancy.
so mover, that was Councilor Van Breda,
The mover was Councillor Lego.
Councilor Legos, thank you. Approve, yeah. So I'll put that revised motion to a vote. All in favor? Carried. Okay. So that will be at the closed session agenda tonight. 7.11. The council approves amending Schedule A. How shall I approach this? Because we are going to be having blanks in the motion.
I would just read it with blanks and we'll fill the names in as they.
Okay. The council approves amending Schedule A to bylaw number 68-22, being a bylaw to make appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees by adding Q8 Healing Waters Ontario Health Team. And further, the council appoints Councillor Joyce Timpson to serve as the council representative to Q8 Healing Waters Ontario Health Team. And further, the council approves amending Schedule A to bylaw number 68-22, being a bylaw to make appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees by removing Councillor Luke Bowman from the Committee of Adjustment and Consent Granting Authority. And further, the council appoints Councillor Blank to replace recently resigned Councillor Bowman on the Committee of Adjustment and Consent Granting Authority. And further, the council approves amending Schedule A to bylaw number 68-22, being a bylaw to make appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees by adding Councillor Blank to the Committee of Adjustment and Consent Granting Authority. We go to a second for that. Councillor Cassidy moved by and seconded by Councillor Lego. And now, I guess we're looking for a volunteer or two volunteers for the consent.
Should we not wait until we elect the other person? Because maybe that would be the committee they would take.
Jimmy Lawrence, unfortunately, if we do that, it could slow down some of the work of the Committee of Adjustment. And I know there's quite a bit happening this summer, so.
Councillor Cassidy.
My suggestion for this would be along those lines, Councillor Costco, but maybe one of us could step in for the interim, maybe someone with experience on it.
Volunteer. Okay.
I would have if you didn't counsel that.
You have, only have one committee. Take on another one.
For a little bit.
Is there anybody else who wishes to volunteer?
We need one more?
No, we don't. All right, so then we will, the name Lego, Councillor Cory Lego will go into where we had blanks on this. And Councillor Timpson, you've already said you would be fine with the Q8 Healing Waters. So if we're good with that, then we will call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, Councillor Lego and Councillor Timpson.
Okay, Councillor Blank.
Councillor Blank, yeah, there you go. And with that, we move to.
Yes.
Bylaw number 50-25, being a bylaw to amend Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux County Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw as amended to permit an extension of 1 year of an existing temporary use.
One, and then we have one more.
Thank you. 48-25.
Yes, so bylaw number 48-25 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 85-18, being a comprehensive zoning bylaw for the corporation of the municipality of Sioux as amended, respecting zoning bylaw amendment number Z05-2025, applicants PCOs.
Thank you. And that bylaw number 50-25, we read the first, second, and third time and passed. Moved by Councilor Van Breda, seconded by Councilor Timpson, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Council reports. Sure, Councilor Gossett, I'm looking at it.
I attended the Friendship Center powwow as a TRC member. Councillor Van Breda also helped with setup. I was very impressed with their team, how they pulled everything together and they had free food and they mounted food and mounted everything. It was just really, beautiful event. It was lovely. I also attended the flag raising on the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, and at that meeting, we forgot to tell Brian this, that we did talk with Chief Bull, and he is appointing Elvis Trout to the committee. And so he would like someone to send an email to him, which he could forward to Mr. Trout. And we're so happy that we're getting a representative from Sioux, and we're getting Elvis Trout. Very well known in the community, and it's very good. I had a meeting with Brian regarding the 2024 on the audited budget and various other topics. We had a special meeting with Hydro today. We've done some work with the TRC, collecting the artifacts from the rec center. So we have another cabinet there, and we have artifacts that we're going to be placing in it. So it's going to be our second cabinet. We also received some donations regarding Hudson from Nick Metzables, from Councilor Van Breda, and we also got a painting from Lori Metza, which will also go in those cabinets. We are continuing with the TRC. We've got several projects going, so we're using working committees to accomplish them. We have 2 events during the Blueberry Festival. So we have the Vanity Bake Off. I'm hoping people can come and help. And I'm assuming you're coming.
Which one is it?
The Vanity Bake Off.
When is that?
It is the first day of Blueberry Festival, so August 1st.
I may not be able to attend. I had surgery the day before, 2 days before, so.
So hopefully someone can step in and be the firekeeper for us. We'll have to work on that. I also attended a committee of adjustment this month. And I think that was my month.
Okay, Councilor Jepson.
Yeah, I don't have too much to report because I was away most of the time, and because I was on holidays and I missed, there were 2 meetings that I missed in addition. So, I'm thanking for Councilor Van Breda and Mayor Lawrence for doing my physician greeting responsibility.
We didn't recruit, we only helped to organize. Pleasure, thanks. Councilor Breda.
I attended the flag raising for Indigenous Peoples' Day with Councillor Costco, the mayor, Chief Bull, and members of the TRC. After that, I went to the Menno Yalwin powwow afterwards. And then the next day, I spoke on behalf of the TRC committee at the Friendship Center powwow at the town beach, which was really fun as well. Nice. Both days were really fun, and the weather was good, so everybody seemed to have a really good time. I met about the new Hudson banners. This should be hopefully be coming up early this year or early next year or later this year. And then I cleaned up the library garden with 2 members of the Environment Committee on the King Street side. And then on last Monday, July 7th, I met with a locum because I know like Councilor Timpson and the mayor couldn't do it. So I stepped in, and it was good. He seemed to be really impressed with Sioux Lookout and what we have to offer. So I think it was good. Hopefully he comes back.
Thank you, Councilor Jansen.
Yeah, for myself, Hydro Board last month, as well as the last PACE meetings last month, and then we're on summer break for that. But the PACE office did move in Dryden, so which is good that the facility they were in, rent was getting out of control. So that was good, and then I was pleased to see that they were able to announce the incubator program for Sioux Lookout at the Old Mayfair Theater. So been almost 8 years, and finally nice to see something going in there. So hopefully that continues for a long time. I also had the Police Services Board kick back up with AMO.
Say that again?
The Police Services Board kicked back up with AMO, kind of like it like restarted, like they called another meeting, like just kick back up. Yeah, like because it'd been kind of docile for a long time. It did kick back, or it did come back online before the announcement of the restructuring of the policing fees, but I was unable to attend that call because I was traveling and they changed the times. But I did attend this one. Just shared, I think, a lot of the stuff that you've been engaged with AMO on Mayor Lawrence, but there are other communities still engaged with regarding the costs and this restructuring, and they are pushing hard to try and get the fees more fair across the province. So we'll see.
Fair is a very subjective term.
Fair, it's fair.
Thanks, Councilor Casson. Councilor Legan.
Yeah, LCC is on summer break. Apparently now I'll have more meetings.
Yeah.
And I only sent one email to CAO and he got right back to me and gave me the next step. So I appreciate that. And that was my month.
Thank you. At the District Services Board meeting and the Governance Committee, the District Services Board Governance Committee meeting, attended the Indigenous People events, the flag raising at the TIC with Chief Bull and members of the TRC, the OPP were there, they always do support that. And then we attended the combined, I think it was a combined Slifna and Manigawa Powell at the Manigawa grounds. And attended the Indian Native, Nishnami Gaelic Indian Friendship Center Powell at the Tourist Information Center site. And at each of those locations, I provided remarks on behalf of the municipality. Northwestern Health Unit Board meeting. I met virtually with Eric Camillo, MP. Attended the Sioux First Nation grand opening of their independent living facility, which is very nice. Attended on behalf of the municipality Pearl Mamakwe funeral and pass on condolences to Solomon Mamakwe on behalf of council and the municipality. CAO and I met with Inspector Price on various topics. And we started met with former Councillor Luke Bone and just thank him for his service. Attended the Canada Day celebrations put on by the Lions Club annually, which they do such a great job of, and provided Canada Day remarks. Came in for the Sioux Bombers had presented a championship ring to the municipality for us to display at the recreation center. So we had a photo opportunity with the Bombers. At a meeting with the Inspector Christ and the Mobile Crisis Response Team nurse to get an update on all the activity that the EMSR team does. Very, very impressive. Did 2 physician briefings, and perhaps you're right, we do a bit of recruitment in that, and then we encourage them to come back and stay and keep coming back. So it is a bit of recruitment as well as orientation. Did an investment, did my part for an investment attraction video that the community initiatives team is putting together. That would be a video to attract investment in Sioux. I will just be a small part of it. Thankfully. Did a mayor Q&A video regarding the strategic planning. Had a video call with the KDSV CEO, the new CEO, Sarah Stevenson, and I'm on the board. I'm not sure it was as mayor or as board member. I think it was as mayor. We went through Sioux specific topics as an introductory meeting, and the CAO and Sarah will be meeting in next week, I think. CBC interview regarding the beer store closure. Did that happen yesterday?
Yeah.
I was walking my dog at 4 o'clock and 2 doors down, neighbor said, "Hey, do you hear the beer store's closing?" I said, "No, I didn't." And so I went back and read it online, and by the time I got home, I think it was being requested by CBC Thunder Bay for an interview, and the TBT TV News. Actually, that was on Strong Mayor Cars, so we did an interview on what's the status there, which was a lot, but the beer store I reached out and spoke to the 2 retailers who currently, as far as I know, sell beer, and got their they had no notice of this coming either. So there we are. We get notice from our neighbors and the media calling us, and nobody had any notice. So spoke to the the Hydro shareholders annual meeting, various meetings with the CAO. I attended the Slipknot Elders and Chiefs. They had a 2-day meeting and had been asked and presented on the municipal intersection with mental health and addictions. And with staff's help, I put together a PowerPoint that so took up about an hour plus of the agenda and this discussion. And then 2 days later, met with French board chiefs here, and we had a very positive 2-hour meeting discussing what was presented and how we can better support people. And we'll be following up. The agreement was we follow up with a bit of a summary, and we're going to meet again in about 2 months' time and this is about trying to put Band-Aids in different places and make agencies accountable and just trying to support people better and do things in Silicon. French board meeting, we did that, various emails and on various topics, bulletin interviews, and the mayor's desk. Mayor's desk on the needles and interviews on economic development. And I think it was about Saturday, I attended, on behalf of municipality, I was invited to attend and provide remarks at Dr. John Morgan's retirement party after he did 40 years of service here. And I think we need to recognize the family of physicians who do stay. He was sort of recruited by colleagues, I think, to come by a colleague who said, why don't you come up here? This is 40 years ago and fell in love with the place and stayed. So if we can get 1 out of 10 of these locums to do that, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
And that was the month. Now, a motion that council move into closed session at 6:16 PM to discuss matters of a general nature as noted below. Subject matter related to litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals, effective municipality or local board, pursuant to municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239(2)E, 1 item legal matters. And subject matter relating to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, pursuant to section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, 1 item CAO performance, and a 3rd item.
So the 2 items under the second provision, sorry, through you, Lawrence, 2 items under the second item for going to close would be filling a council vacancy and CAO performance check-in.
Covered by the second bullet point or anything that's not. Thank you. Moved by Council Gadsby, seconded by Council Timpson. All in favor? Carried. We are now in closed session.